Hello everyone, Manithral here, and welcome to the weekly update video for OSRS. Now this week, there was a bit of an issue when the update first launched. It has now been since resolved, but initially the game had to be shut down and there had to be a rollback, so they're investigating more of the bugs and issues that actually took place. This is regarding untradeable items only though, that were actually impacted by the bug. But everything is back online, but this is one of the things they were talking about, and we were talking about this on Monday, is trying to get things more polished off and a better system in place. This way, if something happens, people don't have to worry. So, the issues and hotfixes that were with it, as you can see, there's actually quite a bit here. Most of these were at 1700 game time, so this is right with the update. But untradeable items were able to be picked up by other players if they were dropped within an instance. Due to the severity of the identified issues, a rollback of the game is required. So they rolled it back moments before the update, and they thank people for their patience. Following the death pile changes made with today's updates, some players were abusing this to provide endless supplies within the wilderness. This hotfix has been deployed that causes food and potions to no longer appear as a supply pile upon a PVM death within the wilderness. Players attempting to complete the Temple of the Eye on mobile devices experience crashes. So the Tribarn fireworks were a new animation command used during this quest, which is likely what caused the crash on mobile. So regretfully, they reverted this to use an older animation command. The animations will play exactly as they did before, but now they will be seen by all players rather than the player doing the quests themselves. Mine portal talismans, could be obtained in the tutorial, so only water talismans should be obtainable during the tutorial in the minigame. There was previously an issue with a number of rift searches being output when receiving the pet, so they corrected the issue that the rift will reflect the correct number of searches you made into the reward rift. Previously, if a player attempted to return to the minigame after an altar while the game is full, the player would experience being kicked out. So, players who were previously kicked in this way may now return to the minigame and continue playing. Leaving the tutorial prevented the crafting of mind and water runes because the altars still recognize the player as in the tutorial. So now players should be able to craft mind and water runes as expected after the tutorial of the minigame. Some players were able to access the Guardians of the Rift lobby without the quest completed. So players should be able to craft mind and water runes as expected after tutorial. Not sure if that's an accidental typo there or not. When mining the Fallen Guardians, the Infernal Pickaxe was using charges intentionally, so fragments gathered from Fallen Guardians should not combust as they are not able to be smelted. So charges should no longer be used from the Infernal Pickaxe during the minigame. There was a visual bug with some dropped items which made them appear to be placed on different floors than they actually are. So this has corrected the visual inconsistencies with dropped items appearing incorrectly during the server downtime. They see various reports of players being unable to progress various parts of the Temple of the Eye quest. Hotfix has been deployed to resolve the issue. If the problem still persists, hop worlds and relog into the game, which should trigger the fix. They will keep monitoring the situation to try to make sure it gets completely rounded out the best possible. Creating gold tiers was giving significantly more crafting XP per hour than is already established metas. So they released a hotfix that reduced the crafting XP per gold tier from 67 to 35, putting it in closer with the other gold crafting methods. So they might revisit the crafting XP offered from creating golden tiers in the future. Completion of the Elite Corinth and Kebo's Achievement Diary is incorrectly giving players double the amount of crafted blood runes. So they released a hotfix so that the appropriate behavior of receiving an additional 10% of any blood runes crafted now applies. It was reported that the Dialite Essence would incorrectly drop within players' loot keys in PvP deaths. Upon further investigation, it appears that this was possible prior to the release of the Guardians of the Rift. So they released a hotfix that now causes the Dialite Essence to act as normal untradeable items on PvP death and will no longer appear in loot keys. And finally, players have reported being able to obtain multiple medium runecraft pouches. So they released a hotfix that ensures players are only able to retain one medium runecraft pouches. So all this fuss is for the Temple of the Eye quest, which is actually right near Al-Kharid and Lumbridge. So the quest requirements is that you have to have done Enter the Abyss mini quest, and you have to have level 10 runecraft, and it is a members only quest. And as for the rewards goes, we have the ability to play the Guardians of the Rift minigame, 5k runecraft XP, a medium pouch if you have not already obtained this, and 1 quest point. So the Guardians of the Rift minigame, there's a quick guide. They recommend bringing the following items: a chisel, pickaxe, and essence pouches. So obviously the more pouches you have, the better. But you got to power up the Great Guardian. So your goals are to mine Guardian fragments, combine the fragments into Guardian essence at the workbench, take the essence to any runecraft altar, imbue the essence at the altar to obtain the Guardian stones, return and feed the Guardian stones to the Great Guardian. So, defending the Great Guardian, you need to obtain a cell. So, how about one of the weak cells at the entrance? Place the cell in the cell tile near the Great Guardian's spawn a barrier. So, you just basically gotta keep trying to make barriers to protect him. And then to upgrade the barrier, you have to pick up an uncharged cell near the entrance, go to the runecraft altar, interact with the altar to charge your cell, return and interact with the cell tile you want to upgrade. All 12 altars can charge your cells, but access based on the runecraft level. For example, you can't enter the blood altar without 77 runecraft. So this means the higher your runecraft level, the stronger your barriers become. So the altars and the power is as follows: air, mind, body is all weak, chaos, cosmic, water is medium, law, earth, nature is strong, death, blood, and fire is overcharged. Obviously, fire is probably the easiest one to go for. So alternatively, you can defend the Great Guardian by creating smaller guardians who actively fight against abyssal creatures. And how you create a guardian is obtain a cell. The weak cells by the entrance work just fine. Interact with the guardian piles nearby, and watch as the rubble comes to life. So basically, you just kind of got to do like that. The energy is capped at 1,000. So for example, you might gain 400 elemental energy and 600 catalytic energy. So something to kind of keep in mind. Changes. So they've also streamlined some of the mechanics in the original blog. So here's what has changed since then. Pure essence is no longer required in the minigame. We like this idea in theory, but in practice it was a bit too clunky. The bank has been removed and replaced with the deposit box, which also has the dedicated right-click deposit runes option. There's still a bank in the lobby. Batteries are now referred to as cells. Cells are now charged in increments corresponding to the altar they are used. The higher the level of the altar, the more charge you'll get. Obviously, cells and batteries. Cells sounds a little bit more in line with RuneScape lore. Remove the charge system for the Abyssal Lantern. It now remains lit until you extinguish it. In exchange, it now requires 6 logs rather than 2, which really isn't that bad. Originally, the random portals would let players bypass the agility requirement to access fallen guardians in the outer areas of the temple. Now they will take players to the normally closed area of the arena. This area provides players with a guardian essence, not just fragments, at a much faster yield. So it's always worthwhile taking the portals when you see them. The Blood Altar is now accessible via the Abyss, so we will get into that in a little bit. There is rewards. There's a general loot table, which is Abyssal Pearls, variety of runes, standard talismans. There is rare rewards, which is a red, blue, green Abyssal dye to recolor the remnants of the eye. Abyssal Needle, used to create the Colossal Pouch. The Colossal Pouch is capable of holding 40, requiring 85 runecraft and 56 crafting to use. Abyssal Protector is a brand new Guardians of the Rift pet. Catalytic Talisman and the Elemental Talisman. And you can also spend the Abyssal Pearls in the Guardians of the Rift reward shop. The Eyes of the Remnant, Raiments of the Eye, I should say, is the new skilling outfit. Talismans, of course, we know what the talismans are. But the skilling outfit consists of the hat, rope top, bottoms, and the boots of the eye. Each grants 10% more runes while runecrafting, up to a maximum of 60% when full set is equipped. That's pretty massive. Guardian's Eye, which you get your nice little own guardian to follow you around. And then we have the Rings of the Elements, which there is a charged and uncharged variant. This is a way to teleport near the elemental runecraft altars. This ring will require a lull rune and one of each of the elemental rune, so fire, water, or air, earth per charge. The maximum number charge is 10,000. So if you want to go to all these locations, you would need 10,000 lull runes and then 10,000 fire, 10,000 water, 10,000 air, and 10,000 earth. And that is per charge. Keep that in mind. So it teleports you to north of the fire altar, west of the water altar, south of the air altar, and west of the earth altar. Now we have the Abyssal Lantern. It is fueled by various logs, each which will provide unique bonuses within the Guardians of the Rift minigame. So, kind of want to see what you need. Normal, which these have fire making levels required. So normal is level 1. Your chance of finding portal talismans are increased by 10%. Oak, 15. Increases your rewards by 5%. Willow, 30. Gives 5% chance increase to all runes crafted in the minigame. Maple, 45. Your chance to find the portal talismans is increased by 20%. Yew, 60. Increases your reward points by 10%. Blisterwood, 62. Gives a 15% increase to blood runes crafted in the minigame. Magic, 75. Gives 10% increase to all runes crafted in the minigame. And Redwood, which is 90, increases your reward points gained and runes crafted by 5%. In addition, your rune pouches will no longer degrade in the minigame. There's also a true blood altar now. So, during the Sins of the Father, the few keen-eyed revolutionists spotted some mysterious ruins in the Myra Digital Laboratories. And it is indeed, yes, the True Blood Altar. So this is now right in line with RS3, but is now accessible via the Abyss, and the access to the True Abyss Altar is still locked behind the Sins of the Father's quest. A shortcut requiring the 74 agility will make the Blood Runecraft XP raids viable. They also added a second shortcut beneath the Hair of the Dog pub in Canopus. It has a one-time requirement of 78 mining to open, and a long-term requirement of 93 agility to traverse. So, obviously, the better your skills, the easier it gets, and the more rewarding it gets. As you can see, you enter the pub, you go down to there, you go right next to it essentially, and then you're right there. But any questions, tune in Thursday to their Twitch on March 24th at their usual time of 1700 game time with Guardians of the Rift Q&A. So do check that out. Now you have Poll 76 quest list changes. So the quest list sorting statuses. Should a quest you lack for the requirement show as unavailable. Like you could get the idea of like that's one of the categories. Show a quest you lack the requirements for, so show as normal or whatever you want to choose. You could also hide unstarted, hide quest in progress, hide completed, hide mini, hide quests in general. There's a quest list text size which starts at small. Disable quest list text shadows. Unstarted quests, you can assign it your own color. The in progress, your assigned color. Completed, assigned color. Unavailable, your assigned color. So you can assign that as you see fit. The quest list can now be sorted by the following: classic, status, difficulty, length, storyline, start location, recommended combat level, release the year, alphabetically. I don't know why that made me stumble. Free members and type. You can always return to classic mode, which is the default sorting order. You can also use filters to hide the mini quests, regular quests, quests not started, which we went over up top there. And of course, there's some accessibility features such as size, shadow, color. There is some PvP beta changes coming up, so do check those out. This is going to be affecting the Mayomas, Seikas, and stuff like that. So, it now provides a 20% accuracy, and, well, this is for Mayomas. Well, this is actually for all of them. It's just in their own respective category. Oh, no. Each one has their own set now thing. Okay, so this is different here. Mayoma's medium helm set now provides 20% melee accuracy and 3% melee damage. The full helm is 25% and 4%. The gray helm is 30% and 5%. So that's something to keep in mind. The Seika's headgear set didn't perform as well as intended. It offered less accuracy than the Airhaven Blighted equipment, so they raised its power level a little bit, so why not? So the Hood magic attack bonus increased from 3 to 6. The set provides now 50% magic and 3% magic damage. The Veil magic is 5 to 8 and it provides 55% accuracy and 4% magic. And the Shroud magic attack bonus increased from 8 to 11 and now provides a 60% magic accuracy and 5% magic damage. And the Koros headgear set, the increased damage offered by this set bonus was about right, but the accuracy just didn't hit the mark. So much like Seika's set, you'll be able to use the Grills. Better off just using Grills. So, the headband range defense bonus increased from 2 to 1, or decreased from 2 to 1, and the set bonus now provides a 15% accuracy and 7.5% ranged. The cowl went from 6 to 3 and now provides a 20% ranged accuracy and 10% damage. The Coif provided a 24 to 12 drop, but the set provides a 25% ranged accuracy and 12.5% range damage. So certain things went up with that one, but there was a little bit of a lower in the other ones. The death pile changes, they made some engine changes affecting the Ultimate Iron Man. So, as discussed recently, the game now recognizes death piles items on your player's save rather than the world save. This means that if you have an item on the ground visible to only to you, such as untradeable items or items dropped on death outside PvP, it will be saved when you log off and reappear when you log back in. The time the item stays on the ground remains the same, but critically, the timer pauses whenever you're offline. So please note this does not apply to items dropped in instance areas. But all accounts will notice a that if they have the setting enabled, which drops food and potions on the supply pile upon death, this pile will also benefit from the pause despawn timer, and will also appear in any world you log into. So in the future, they may use the system for item drops and mass encounters to avoid the issues they saw with the next launch, where so many items were dropped that some players' drops just disappeared. Other changes are that the notifications of the personal best raid times will now display in the raid's full time. Remove and incorrectly placed group storage chests in Falador. Clan members now have the option to leave their clan's chat channel entirely, replacing the option to mute it. So that means you can still be in the clan, but not in the chat. Players will no longer get disconnected if they type 80 characters into a group Iron Man chat channel. Corrected some lore inconsistencies in the Rune Mysteries quest. Further on the PJ timer changes, players can no longer trade in the wilderness if they are or were recently in combat. They removed the pre-existing delay after using Essence in the Runecraft altars, so this was actually pulled in 76. PvP World Road has moved to period B, is 560 UK PvP, 579 US high risk PvP, 561 UK free to play PvP, 580 US LMS competitive, and the World 390 AUS LMS competitive is deactivated for this rota. So thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, later guys.